my gosh, that looks good. Alright, so I have about a pound of saltwater shrimp. These are either white or brown shrimp. I'm not exactly sure, but they're usually caught on our south coast. For a proper Jamaican pepper shrimp, we want all parts of the shrimp, head and shells. That's going to give us way more flavor, and that shell is perfect for holding in the season. I like using medium-sized shrimp for this. They're the perfect balance. Big enough to hold onto that peppery sauce, but still small enough to stay tender and soak up all of that flavor. And smaller shrimp tend to be a little sweeter too, so there's a bonus. These require very little cleaning because the heads and shells are a big part of this dish. So usually these are not deveined, especially if they're smaller, but I personally don't like the idea of leaving in the poop chute. I'm using a toothpick to remove the intestinal tract. It comes out really easy. Just insert the toothpick at the second joint below the vein and pop it out. Deveining all these only took a few minutes, and even the smallest ones were still very easy to do. So there's no big reason to not do it. Next, I'm going to wash these. I'm using the juice of a fresh lime, but vinegar also works. The acid helps to cut through any sliminess or off odors the shrimp might have. Don't overdo it or leave it to sit. The acid will start to cook the shrimp. Ceviche is great, but we're making pepper shrimp. Next, rinse and drain these with a bit of fresh water. Now, I'm going to divide this in half because I'll be making two pepper shrimp recipes. If you're wondering, that orange stuff in the head of the shrimp is raw and that's ready to be laid. That's also going to give us a big flavor boost. These shrimp were probably getting ready to spawn before they were caught, or they were caught near a spawning area because they're all females. This is Scotch bonnet pepper. Scotches are key in pepper shrimp because they add that signature heat and flavor. Most people enjoy their pepper shrimp when the heat is just short of unbearable. But I'm only adding one scotchy because I still want to taste the shrimp. This style of pepper shrimp is a street food version, so I'm going to season it exactly like the street vendors. And that means Maggi season up. I've got a few different flavors here, but the one that gives us that middle quarters style shrimp is actually the chicken flavor. I don't use Maggi season much, but after interrogating a couple of the middle quarter ladies, they gave up their secrets. That chicken flavor plays up the natural sweetness of the shrimp really well. I'm using the entire packet, which is around half a tablespoon. Give that a quick toss to mix everything together. This will need a bit more salt and another mix, then that's it. Now, let's cook this. Place a pan on high heat. Add a big splash of oil and let it get smoking hot. I'm using my saucepan to minimize any splashing. Once that's up to temp, just go ahead and add the shrimp. This cooks extremely quick. At this size, they'll take literally 2 to 3 minutes. Any more will overcook them and turn them tough and rubbery. We want cooked and juicy. Street style pepper shrimp is really simple. The most important thing is choosing good quality fresh ingredients. Getting naturally sweet flavorful shrimp and fresh aromatic scotch is key. Next, add a splash of water. That's probably less than a quarter cup. We don't want to submerge the shrimp. That's going to soak under the shell and helps to enhance the juiciness factor of the shrimp. If your shrimp releases a lot of water, adding extra might not be necessary. These look cooked now, so let's sample this. That is delicious. These shrimp are very sweet and succulent, and that spice is excellent. That is it. These are done now, so I'm killing the heat. And that's our street style pepper shrimp, or as a lot of Jamaican call it, pepper swims. That looks incredible. Those spicy, flavorful juices have soaked into the shell. You might be wondering how we eat this, and everyone does it different. You could remove the meat from the tail, but I like to show up everything, shells and all, so I get all of those flavors. That's really good. When buying these as street food, we usually get them in a bag like this. They're usually served cold, but sometimes you might be lucky to get them fresh out of the pot. We also get a paper bag to help handle the waste shells. Pepper shrimp is a popular road trip food, especially on the south coast. Middle quarters is the big pepper shrimp spot, and these are the ladies that I interrogated. Freshwater crayfish is also used to make pepper shrimps. Locally, these are called janga, and they're probably more popular than the saltwater pepper shrimp. Middle quarters is a really iconic spot, but there's another location where you can get pepper shrimp. This is border, so named because it's the border of St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland. Behind the vendor stalls, we have the really beautiful Scotch Cove. Border is better known for its fried fish, bammy and festival, but you'll find a few vendors that sell pepper shrimp too. Most vendors will have both crayfish and saltwater shrimp. Let us know in the comments, which version do you prefer? The classic street style pepper shrimp is great, very simple and delicious, but let's do a bit more with it. Remember the other half of the shrimp that we saved? Let's season that with one whole chopped scotchy. This is about a tablespoon of Old Bay seasoning. It goes incredibly well with seafood, especially shrimp. It adds depth and complexity without overpowering the dominant Scotch bonnet flavor. Next, I have about a teaspoon of cornstarch. I'm going to use this to lightly coat the shrimp. I want a bit of sauce with this pepper shrimp, and that cornstarch is going to thicken it up. Adding the cornstarch now means I don't have to make a slurry later. Just like with the last dish, I'm starting with a big splash of oil and letting it get hot. Add about a tablespoon of chopped garlic and a stalk of chopped scallion. Saute that for a few minutes until it gets fragrant. Now we can go in with our seasoned shrimp. Add one sliced onion and sliced sweet pepper. That's about one pepper total using different colors. Next, saute these. The shrimp and vegetables will cook in roughly the same time. I'm adding a splash of water to deglaze the pan. Just going to give this a quick taste to test the flavor. Could use a little more of that Old Bay seasoning. That's about half teaspoon of paprika, mostly for a little more color. I'm adding another splash of water. I want this to be saucy, but I'm still being very conservative. Wouldn't want to flood out all of those flavors. Once the shrimp has completely changed color, we're good. That aroma is something else, deep and peppery. Getting shrimp with shells and head was surprisingly difficult. The demand for these is crazy. As soon as the seafood shop stocks them, they run out in a day or two. The only reason I got these was because the shopkeeper couldn't find them in his freezer. He thought he was out, but double checked when I turned up. You could of course use other shrimp, but with the heads and tail on, you get a crazy flavor boost. I'm garnishing this with sliced chili pepper and some fresh parsley. Optional of course, but I just love how that looks. Yup, and that's our flavor loaded pepper shrimp. It's a bit more saucy, so we can actually pair this with a side like bammy, festival, or some steamed rice. That looks spectacular. You can tell those shrimp are very juicy.
Ooh.
But let's sample this and see how we did. That sauce is loaded with shrimp flavor. The smell of this is incredible. That's absolutely delicious. But how does it stack up against the street style pepper shrimp? Well, they're both very delicious, but there's something about the street style. It's a simple bare bones recipe that makes it perfect for street food. A saucy loaded pepper shrimp like this one is more suited to a meal at home with sides. These shrimp have such a sweet, delicious flavor, you could simply cook them with salt and pepper. But if I had lower quality shrimp or shrimp without heads or shells, I would use this method to carry them a bit more. I'm Nick and this was delicious. Shout out to our patrons who help keep the kitchen cooking and thank you so much for watching. We reached a big milestone of 100k subs, so a big thanks for that. Like the video so YouTube knows you enjoyed it. I'll catch you in the next one and bless up.